So this is my video on my analysis of my last relationship, basically. I'm not putting myself in a figure of relationship expert or relationship guru or the most perfect man to be with in a relationship. No, this video is simply me telling you what went wrong in my last relationship, my failures, and I'm going to tell it to you, so hopefully you don't make the same mistakes. I'm not going to be one of those YouTubers who give you top 7 things to do to satisfy your woman, to please your woman. I'm not going to be one of those YouTubers. Basically, I'm not going to be a YouTuber who goes for views. I'm a YouTuber who's going to be authentic to myself. Fuck the algorithm, fuck everything like that. I'm going to be someone who's true, no filter, no contenty type of person, like someone who you can just tell is putting on an act for a video. I'm going to speak to you directly as person to person as best as I can, because I'm only speaking to a camera. First thing is sticking to your word. If you tell your girl that you're going to do something, you do it. Your masculine essence, one thing which that really involves to be masculine, is to stick to your word. If you tell your girl that you're going to change, in terms of, at the start of my relationship, one instance that is perfect for this example is me smoking weed. I smoked weed at the start of my last relationship, and she voiced her concern to me. She told me that she didn't like me smoking weed. And what I did about that whole process, which was a very good thing to do, is exactly how you should do it every single time, is she voiced her concern to me on what she wants me to be like, and I took her thought into consideration. I processed it for myself. I thought about it, being like, okay, weed is not actually beneficial for me, first of all, because I want to grow, I want to become rich, I want to become successful. And what do all these influencers and what does every rich and successful person in the developmental stage of their life do? They cut out all the bad habits. They cut out the smoking. They cut out the weed. So I thought, okay, if she does not like this and it's not beneficial for me as well, then I should take action on that. And I should cut out the weed, because I value the weed more than the relationship, and I value I value the relationship more than the weed. That's the right way around. And I value my career more than the weed. And she's just reminding me of that. She's keeping me accountable of the man that I want to be, which is a good thing in a woman, to test you. That is a test, and I passed that test. But then when it comes to stuff like later on to the relationship, such as, I thought you were going to do the washing up. I thought you were going to put away your dishes after you washed them up. You told me you would. Why haven't you done it? That is an example of me not sticking to my word. I said at that current instance that she told me, can you put away the dishes please after you wash up? I said yes, just to make her be quiet, just to give her what she wants. Which, yeah, tell her, that I'm going to do it, because you should do it. But then, if you do not do what you said you would do, that to her is a sign of weakness. It's a sign of your untrustworthy trait. It's a sign that if you say you're going to do something and you don't do it, it's a sign that she can't trust your masculine direction. She can't trust that you aren't going to stick to your word in the future when it comes to more serious things. So for me, I literally had it like smacked in the fucking face. So I won't go into too much detail, her health seriously declined and she needed me there for it. I told her that I would help her with it, but then I never would help her with it. I would never take the time to research what was going on with her. I wouldn't listen to her when she was voicing her concerns with her health. and I would just basically, I wouldn't keep my word in terms of helping her. I wouldn't help her. I would just, because I was like, oh, gotta get money, which leads me on to another topic later on in the video. But yeah, sticking to your word is one of the most important things in a masculine man. If you can't stick to your word, you're not a man. You're a bitch. But another thing which I also have to mention about like listening to your girl, if she don't like what you do, then you change and do what she says because you want to be the man that she wants. That is not true. If your girl tells you that she doesn't like you being a content creator, if your girl tells you that she doesn't like something that you're doing which is authentic to you and is your purpose and you want to pursue it for your dream and your career, and she don't like it, then that is not the girl for you. That is, you've got to get away from that for your sake and even for her sake as well. She'll respect you more if you break up with her just because you're so on your mission. If she's on board with your mission, then keep her there. But if she is not on board with your mission and wants you to change from your mission, then you need to find a different girl. Another thing which is also a really big fuck up in my relationship, which you can learn from, is stop trying to compete with your girl in a masculine way. So for example, what I would do is my ex, she was a bit older than me. She was about 4 years older than me, and she had finished uni, gotten a degree, and she was going to go on to being a lawyer, to do her masters and everything like that. And way how I would instead praise her to become a lawyer, praise her to put her in a feminine way, because a woman can still be on her career and be a feminine woman. Like, just because she's on a career, it doesn't mean that she's masculine. Just because she's not a stay-at-home wife doesn't mean that she's not a feminine woman. You can still be a feminine woman and be in a career. You just need to know how to put her in her feminine place, which is how I'm going to tell you now. And it's by not competing with her. So what I would do is I would talk to her about, oh, I'm going to earn more money than you. Oh, I've been more productive than you today. Oh, you've been lazy today. Oh, why are you still in bed for, scrolling on your phone? That is not how you speak to a fucking woman. It's not how you speak to a woman. A feminine woman, how you're supposed to talk to them, how to treat them, is they thrive off praise and admiration. So instead, if you want to encourage your girl to get out of bed, never critique them. Praise them to get them to do what you want them to do. So for example, instead of saying, oh, you're lazy, why are you in bed so much? Instead say something like, oh, I love it when me and you get up in the morning and we make breakfast together and we eat together and we share such a special moment in the morning. She is going to be way more inclined to get out of bed then. Way more inclined. Instead of telling her she's fucking lazy. That's how you speak to a man. That's how you treat a man. It's not how you treat a woman. You treat a woman through praise and admiration. Go and do some fucking work. That's how you treat a man. How you treat a woman is, oh, baby, why are you still in bed for? I love it when me and you go and cook food in the morning together and we spend quality time together. That will make her way more inclined to get out of bed and actually be productive if you want her to be more productive and stop sitting on her phone. And you can spend more quality times together. Another thing which I also did get wrong is not setting my priorities straight. So depending on the stage of your life that you're in is how you need to set your priorities. If you're at a stage of your life where you're on your mission, you're making your career, you're trying to earn money, be rich, successful, YouTuber, all of that, trying to do something along your career along the lines of that, your priority needs to be that. It needs to be that. Your purpose, the thing that is your calling, the thing that you wake up in the morning and go, I need to do this to achieve the life that I want. The life that makes me feel fulfilled, makes me feel purposeful, makes me feel confident, and it's the thing that I am pursuing at this stage in my current life. If it's that, then that takes priority and not your girl. If you're at a stage where you've done all of that, you're settling down, you want to find the woman, you want to have kids, you want to put them as priority, marriage, kids, becoming a father, becoming a husband, then yeah, obviously set them as your priority. You need to establish your priorities before you get in a relationship, and that's not what I did. What I did was, I am going to be this, and this. Rich, successful, hardworking, dedicated, all of that. I'm going to be a career-driven guy. And then what I did was fail at her tests of testing me on how serious I am at it. She would test me like, instead of going to bed early to wake up early to go on a run, why don't you stay with me and we can do some stuff tonight? Or why don't, instead of going to work that day, you come with me and we have a date? Or why don't, instead of going to boxing, you stay with me and we can play some Call of Duty together? That's a test, bruv. That is a test. She doesn't actually want you to do that. She is telling you, yeah, I want to spend time with you. I want to be with you. I want you to give me attention and affection and all of that. But she will respect you and love you and admire you way more if you are true to yourself and you are true to your goals, but you also do make time for her as well. If you're at a point where you're doing both, which is perfectly fine because it's self-improvement. The point of life is to live a good life, and that is by having a woman there. But you have got to establish your priorities first. So tell her instead, sorry baby, no I can't, I've got to do this work today, this work first, and then I promise on Saturday, when I've got more time free and you're free as well, we will go and do something, like we'll go on a date. I'll take you home, we'll have a nice time together. And then later on in that day, we'll play Call of Duty. We'll do everything that you want to do at that one time when I'm free. And also at the time when I'm not going to be overthinking about all the work I need to be doing. Because if you put off work to spend time with your girl, then you're giving your girl less presence and less of you, because really you're spending time with your girl in the physical form, but in the spiritual form and the mental form, you're not even all there. You're thinking about the work that you need to do, which in turn your girl's going to be like, does he not love me or something, and am I doing something wrong? Which is then going to cause a strain on your relationship because of your inability to be present, because you're thinking about work that you need to be doing because you haven't set your priorities right. Another thing, it also does kind of go into priorities, but it is another kind of topic. It is this correct timing for you to get into a relationship? If you look at your schedule right now, you write down your schedule on Google Calendar, on a whiteboard, or just anyway, you write down your daily schedule and what it's going to be like for a pretty prolonged amount of time. If there is no time to get in a relationship with a girl, do not get in a relationship with a girl. If you have bigger goals, bigger ambitions than getting with a girl at this current stage in your life, like making money, you need to set your priorities straight and go and get that money and then get the girl later on. Because at this age, you're probably around the same age as me, like 19, you're probably like 15 to like 23, in that stage of your life. You're so young still. You're so young. You don't need to be in a relationship. You have loads of time in the future, probably even in like 6 months time, in a year's time, in 2 years time, which isn't a lot of time. Spend that time on yourself, getting your money straight, getting your mental health straight, getting your physical health straight. And then once you've done all of that, you've got your money, you've got everything like that straight, then you go and pursue a girl. Then you pursue a relationship with a woman. Are you in a position of your life where you need to work, or are you in a position of life where you have achieved a good amount of work first, and then you have the right and the ability and the capability, to pursue women and pursue relationships like that. Because if you want to get money, big, you want to become the ideal man, it does require an episode of seclusion. It requires an episode of being alone and being able to sit by yourself and get work done and become the man that you actually want to be, and that women want as well. Women want a successful, rich, powerful, masculine, strong man. You've got to become that first, and that requires an episode of seclusion in your life. I'll probably touch on an episode of seclusion in another video. If you would like to watch that, subscribe, click the bell, and I will make that video eventually. Another aspect of which ruined my relationship is probably a big one for a lot of people, is ruining your image by getting comfortable. In my relationship, at the start of it, I was so fucking driven. I had everything mapped out, planned, organized. I was sexy as fuck. Well, I still am, but I was sexy as fuck. Like, always straight haircut. See, like, my trim is a bit crap. My beard is a bit all over the place. Back then, always quality trim. I had my Google Calendar mapped out for the week, hour by hour, exactly what I was doing. I was focused, I was driven, I was organized, I was everything. And then fast forward to about 6 months into that relationship, I didn't even know what I was doing the next morning. I didn't even know what I was doing later on that day. Later on, like in the next hour, I didn't even know what I was doing, which is very directionless for a man, and a woman also does not appreciate that. And I was also slacking in terms of my self-improvement. I wasn't doing like all the meditating and something like that. But my diet was also depleting, was also a big one, because your diet is literally everything. I'll be honest, having sex was really fucking good. It emptied my balls. I was dishing out my testosterone. I had no external drive for me anymore, because I had emptied it all. I was spending all my time with my girl because it was comfortable and it was good. Like, it's good to spend time with your woman. Like, it is a good thing to spend time with your woman. It is. But I took it to a point where it wasn't beneficial for me or my woman at the time. So instead, what I should have done is not ruin my image, because it got to a point where the image of me at the start of the relationship was someone who was driven, hardworking, all of that. And then towards the end of it, it was a lazy, undisciplined, eating junk food, smoking vapes, drinking, lazy boyfriend. That was who I turned into because of me getting comfortable. For example, a warning sign of your laziness could be your girl just telling you, oh, you're being lazy. And then you could see that as her judging you and getting in a bit of a defensive state, like, why the fuck you calling me that? Don't call me that, bitch. Don't say that to me. That is a fucking pussy way to go about it. Don't do that. She's calling you lazy. She still loves you. It's not that she doesn't like you. She's not interested in you. It just means that you're not what you said you was, what you said you should be doing, what you said that you are going to be, but you're putting off because you're lazy. She's reminding you that get back on your fucking purpose, you bitch. You're the bitch for being lazy. She's reminding you of that. When you're in a position where it gets difficult and you're arguing with your girl, people think is a bad thing. It is not a bad thing. If you argue with your girl, first of all, it shows that you care. It shows that you care. If someone comes to you and tells you that they never argue with their girl, then it's a shit relationship. It either shows that they don't care about the relationship that much, or the man or one partner of it is just saying yes to everything to keep the partner happy, which also just builds loads of resentment, which will just end up in them breaking up anyway. So anyone who comes to you and tells you that they never argue and their relationship is perfect, if they never argue, their relationship will fail. It will fucking fail, 100% guaranteed. You have to argue with your girl, because if you do not, then it proves that the relationship isn't that good anyway and you don't really care about it, or one of you are just making the other person happy at your own expense, which is just going to cause later issues down the line anyway, to put it short, and you're going to break up. So fucking argue with your girl, because you need to deal with issues rather than keep them in your head. And one advice which I have is to not get advice off too many people, and to be more specific, don't get advice off people who you do not want to end up like. So for example, you don't want to take dieting advice off a fat guy, do you? You don't want to take advice off a guy who has continuous failed relationships, or a girl who has continued failed relationships. And another problem with getting advice off too many people as well is, let's say you get advice off your mum, your dad, your sister, your friends, your other friend, another 5 friends, and then your trainer, and then other people. That is so shit of a way to deal with that issue of arguing with your girl at the time. Such a terrible issue, because you're going to have, because everyone's got their own different experiences of how their life actually has mapped out to get them to the point they're at now. And they've all got different advice. Your mum will say one thing, your dad will say one thing, your friend will say another thing, your trainer will say another different thing, your other 5 friends will say all a completely different fucking thing to you, which is just gonna fucking boggle your mind. It's just gonna make you go like, what the fuck do I do? Instead, what you should do is you should be open to failure. If you fucking fail, bruv, you fail. There is no failure in failing. It sounds weird, it sounds that, but let me explain. There is no failure in failing. You never fail, you learn. You learn from it. You gain experience from it. That way, you're living authentically to yourself, and you're not living how other people tell you to live. Because the man that a woman wants is someone who they are their own self. They have their own experiences. They have their own life understandings, their own values, their own everything. And they learn this through failing constantly, over and over and over again. That's how you become the man. You fail. You've got to live your own experiences, learn your own way. You can get advice off people who are in a position where you want to be. So for example, I take advice off Hamza, a popular YouTuber, or Iman Gadzhi, or Jordan Welch, or some people like that, Alex Hormozy. I take advice off them because they're in a position that I want to be in. Alex Hormozy, he has a very successful relationship, doesn't he? So I would take a relationship off him. Or I take advice off Hamza because he knows YouTube. He is literally one of the biggest people in self-improvement niches right now, so I take advice off him for YouTube and how to do it. Don't take advice off people who ain't in a position where you want to be in, and also don't take advice off too many people, because it will just boggle your mind and you won't know what to do, and then you'll just fuck up anyway in your own unauthentic way, which won't cause you much benefit, because you don't really know that if you did what you thought was right. So now you're in a position where you're still going to do what you want to do because you didn't live authentic to yourself. That's been the video of me expressing my failure about my relationship. It's good to express your failure. See failure as a delight. See failure as something that you can grow from. Like, yeah, this breakup hurts. Like, it only happened like a week ago. This breakup hurts a fucking lot, because a lot of it, I'll be perfectly honest, I'm taking accountable for. It was mostly my fault. It was mostly me that fucked up on all the things that I've listed, and probably more things which I don't even fucking know about yet, but I've got to learn. I hope you did enjoy the video. If you did, leave a comment of what you'd like me to talk about next.